Hi there, I'm the Daisy's Witch, but for you it's Daisy. So today I am back more than a year after my last video to make dandelion syrup with you. Dandelion syrup is one of my favorite things to make. It's kind of a tradition for me. Every year at springtime when the first dandelions come up, I make a syrup out of them. And every year that syrup is made for different properties. So the first time I made it, for example, I made it so that it would protect the heart of the people who drink it. And it's kind of a similar thing that I'm gonna do this time, but less medical and more emotional. As you can see, I am separating out the petals of the flowers right now. I'm doing this for a few reasons. First of all, I don't want the greens. I think they are edible. Check it out. So don't trust me on that. But I don't want them, so I'm separating out the petals. Processing them in that way is a way for me to prepare the flowers for the syrup, for their magical use, and it's also kind of a meditative state, not state, but act, yeah, kind of a meditative act. So dandelions have a lot of symbolism attached to them, and they have a few medicinal and magical properties attached to them as well. I encourage you to look into that, to look into their traditional uses, their popular uses, and their popular symbolism. But I also encourage you to look into yourself at what they symbolize or may symbolize for you. Typically, dandelions and daisies are associated with spring, fertility, innocence, young love, these kind of things. And it's actually for their heart protecting medicinal abilities and love associated properties that I'm using them today. The syrup I'm gonna be making is to help me heal a broken heart, and help me heal, yeah, basically the broken parts of my heart, whether it is about love or other things that might hurt there. So as I'm separating out the petals, you know, it's kind of those little girls games where you're like, oh, he loves me not, he loves me not. It's kind of a similar activity. I mean, little girls aren't stupid, they don't do anything random. They have access to a lot of raw power, I would say. And I think we can draw a lot of inspiration from little girls' games, or little children's games, anyways. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm not doing a he loves me not situation here, but it's kind of a similar situation where I'm drawing out the petals to, I guess, activate their properties. Whereas the love me not thing is divination, here this is more proactive. This is not asking, this is telling, you are gonna heal me. Now, of course, this is magical, but this is not miracle. So it's not gonna heal my broken heart and my trauma or whatever on its own. I still have to work on it on my own, but that's not the point of this video. In any case, always remember the mundane before the magical. So yeah, here I'm about done. I fast forwarded, of course. You don't need to see me pluck out every single flower. I had a lot of them. So I'm just picking up a few loose petals before washing my flowers. It's really important that you always wash your flowers and herbs unless you have grown them inside. but especially if they come from a garden or from a public space, because there are gonna be bugs, there are gonna be animals who would have peed on it or deposited whatever on it, and you want to make sure to get that off. So here you see me rinsing the petals with warm water and white vinegar, and I'm submerging them, I'm mushing them around a bit, trying to make sure that every petal gets rinsed off. I'm sorry if you're triggered by the water that's dropping. My sink isn't very good, you know, renting life. It's gonna stop very soon, I promise. So anyways, here I am swishing them around, washing them. This step is very important for your health, because you don't want to be making your syrup out of, you know, dirty petals that would have pee or whatever on them. So you want to rinse them, and you want to rinse them with vinegar to, you know, get rid of bacteria or whatever. But this can also be part of your magical process. I process them, I prepare them before. When I was plucking them out, I was telling them what I was expecting out of them. And now I am cleansing them. So removing any physical or magical or whatever spiritual things that I don't want on them, that would pollute my syrup in any way. And as you can see, I missed a few flowers that I inadvertently left whole, so I'm picking that up right now. I let them sit, I believe, for 5 to 10 minutes in the water before rinsing them, just to make sure that they had time to, you know, be rinsed off. And now I'm gonna strain them and rinse them off for a few times again. This part can be a cleansing process, not just for the flowers, but also for myself. After all, if I am trying to heal some, you know, hurt parts of myself, I also need to let go of whatever is preventing me from healing, of the hurt, of, you know, ego or whatever. I need to wash them off. And so this practice of washing off my flowers before making the syrup is double. Now, obviously, the syrup that I'm about to make doesn't have to be magical. You can reproduce it just because it tastes really good, because it really does. Now here I am putting it in a pan, or I guess it's a pot rather. I didn't dry off my petals because I'm gonna be cooking them right away. And since I'm making a syrup, it's gonna be in water anyways, so I don't see the point of drying them. So now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna cover them in sugar. Usually you would want to have equal amounts of sugar and water. I kind of eyeballed it this time because my scale was out of battery and I could not be bothered. But I made sure to have a sufficient amount of sugar so that it would not be too liquid and it would still be syrupy. There are a few ways that you can make a syrup out of flowers. And there isn't one that is better than the others. They will give you different results and different intensity in the taste, and they will bring out different flavors. The reason why I'm doing it the way I'm doing is because I wanted to process the flowers and the sugar in the same way that you would with, for example, orange zest. If you're making an orange cake or lemon, it's about the same. I want to kind of mix them together and pound them together so that the sugar actually activates and draws out the flavor. And it's also a way for me to, you know, basically activate the properties and blend them in. I usually go with the infusion style of syrup, where you infuse the petals in water for a while and then you strain out the petals and you add sugar to the water. But that felt a little bit too delicate, I guess, for the purpose that I was making this. I wanted something that would be more strong, more frank, I guess more sturdy. Dandelions are also known for their resilience, and that is something that I really wanted to extract from those flowers. This idea of resilience, of strength, it's something that I feel like I've been missing lately. And so yeah, that's why. So here you can see me mushing them around and trying to kind of mix them, and you can see that the moisture that was left on the petals is actually melting the sugar little by little as I'm smushing them around together. So I'm just mushing it again, giving it my intention and giving it, you know, instructions for how it will work. And what I'm actually doing right now is that I'm shaping it into a heart before I put it on the fire, or on the stove, because there's no fire. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want this to heal my heart. So that's why I'm telling it. Kind of works like a sigil, if you will. Again, whatever works for you works for you. You don't have to do it that way, or you don't have to do it at all. But this is how I chose to do it. This is how it made sense for me. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set it on the stove at medium to low temperature so that it can slowly simmer. And at first I'm not adding any water, I'm just letting it simmer in the sugar, letting it caramelize, letting the sugar draw out all of that flavor. There's already plenty of moisture in the petals anyways from the rinsing stage, so I don't need to add anything yet until it's nice and melted and sugary. I added some water later and kept it simmering for a few hours, and now this is what it looks like. So I am just making sure that everything is looking good, I don't have anything burnt, and we're gonna go ahead and bottle it up. Now the final step of this process is gonna be to strain or bottle the syrup that we just made once it's ready. Before we do that, we have to make sure that our bottles or containers have been sterilized, of course. And while they are still hot, we can pour the hot syrup in it. While we're doing this is the perfect occasion to finish up our spell, however we've done it until now, whether we've used words or incantations or sigils or whatever else, or music, or I don't know. It's up to you. It's your practice, your craft, your syrup. That being said, even if the spell is technically done, it is still brewing as it is still hot. So the spell will continue, the spell and the syrup will continue brewing until the syrup has cooled off completely. and then it will be ready to be used. And there you have it. Two beautiful containers of a wonderfully golden syrup that can be used for whatever you want it to be used for, whether it is wealth, fertility, healing. Feel free to leave a like if you like this video, to leave a comment if you have anything to say about it. I would love to have a conversation with you, to share it. Feel free to share it with a friend if you thought they would like it as well, and hit follow if you want to see more. Hopefully I have more coming soon. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye. Pew pew.